Welcome to another episode of the Nashville Dads. On this episode, we have on producer and musician Tim Craven. We spend a lot of time talking about our kids' personalities, managing life at home, trying to find sane people to tell you how to raise your kids, trying to figure out how to correct your kids, and Tim's experiences with emergency landings and delivering a kid in Shelby Park. We hope you enjoy.
Tell me, you guys both have one child, two children?
I have three.
Three?
Yeah.
God.
So I'm a stay-at-home dad. I have an 8-year-old, a 6-year-old, and he'll be 3 in September.
Oh, wow. 8, 6, and 3.
And my one that I have right now is just 5 days younger than Devin's third child. And then we've got a second one on the way, end of October 29th.
Wow.
So
well, good for you. So, you know, if you're into graphs, if 1 is 0 going this way, linear or horizontal, 2 is vertical, straight up. It's not gradual. There's no curve to it. It just goes 1, 2, straight up in the air. So good luck with everything.
It really is.
Thank you.
Well, it's funny because the second kid, you're like, I got this. I understand. I already had a kid. I'm aware of how this works. And then you immediately are like, oh, no, I don't. Like the first week, you hold the kid for the first time and you're like, what have I done? Why did I think I knew what I was doing this entire time?
Yeah, but you're completely, it doesn't make any sense, but you are completely outnumbered with 2.
Yep.
Because it's like 1 and then 10. You might as well just have 10. At least for me, I have 2 boys. And they are rambunctious and just crazy all the time. And it's so one is 4 and the other is going to be 2 in September.
Okay.
Cool.
So I don't know if does it get easier when they get old? Like, is 5 better? Like everybody's like, 2's terrible, 3's so much better. And then you get to 3 and you're like, 3's not so good. Yeah. And then everybody's like, no, 4 is so much better. And then you get to 4 and you're like, what the F, man? It's like, is 5 any better? And everybody's like, oh yeah, 5's great. And then I'm afraid I'm going to get to 5 and it's going to be a nightmare.
I've heard this a million times. I really think it is dads just tricking other people into becoming dads so they're not alone.
Yep.
That's it.
I think that's an Andy Samberg joke. He was on Conan or Fallon or something. And he was talking about how you're about to have a kid. Everyone's like, it'll be fine. You'll figure it out. You'll be great parents. You'll be great partners. Then the kid is born. It's like, everyone's like, gotcha.
Yeah.
You're screwed now.
Actually, I think so far for me, at least, from my vantage point, pre-1 is the place that you want to kind of stay for as long as you can, because there's 18 months or whatever it is, 11 months, 10 months is great. Even just past 1, but man, I'll tell you what, our Cosmo is our youngest. He's going to be 2 in September, and man, he's climbing the walls right now. It's just it's crazy. It's nuts.
Well, it's because they have all this energy and you want them to get it out in a way that isn't destructive, but it's never ending. So you'll spend an hour at the playground and you're like, okay, cool, I'm done. I'm ready to go home. And they're like, I have 5 more hours of doing this left in me. Yeah. And you're like, guys, I can't do this for 5.
So is that same with your girls, Devin, or is that?
Yeah, no, I feel like
mainly just Josh with your.
No, I think in general,
with your only
it seems like there's a cartoon I remember reading once where it's a dad running around with their kid for the entire day, or that's what all the panels are. And the thought bubble in his head is this is really going to wear him out. And then the next panel is him asleep on the couch. And it's the son being like, man, he really wore himself out. I've never found the trick to wear your kids out unless you go to a beach for an entire day and you force them to be in direct sunlight, which almost feels dangerous after a while. But I don't know, man.
Yeah, it's fun, but it's a lot, man. My kids they're up at 5. They go to bed at 8:30. You lay there for 45 minutes. You fall asleep. You got to pull yourself out of the sleep. Then you come downstairs. Yep. But I don't know. I can only guess, but our neighbors who are right next to us, they have 2 girls who are similar in age of our kids. And their daughter is just a little bit older, I think a year older than River. And their other daughter is just maybe 4 months younger than Cosmo. And I don't hear a peep from them over there. It's like a library over there. I go get the mail. I walk down to the street to get the mail, and it's like I can hear screams coming from my house at the mailbox, and all the no windows open, no doors, and it's like the neighbors, nothing. Like our kids are in the backyard, they're racing around, playing in the sprinklers, they're chasing each other and just all screaming and yelling and just carrying on. Their kids are just like, I don't even hear them.
Yeah.
Tim, does your 2-year-old like the sprinklers and like water?
Oh yeah, loves it. Loves it,
dude.
Yeah.
I tried this weekend to get her into the pool, not having it.
Oh wow.
So we put a sprinkler out, not having that either.
Really?
She did not like the sprinkler. I was like, whose kid is this? This is not my kid. I loved water when I was a kid.
Yeah, same. I mean, they love it. We go to splash parks, we go to the pool, we do the stuff in the backyard. We've got like a little small pool, and they've got sprinklers. They're out there all day, going nuts, spraying each other, running around. It's great.
Yeah.
It's good. So, but zero energy level. I mean, they are out there all day, and they come inside, and they're just like, whoosh.
I feel like whenever your kids are 4 and younger, I feel like there's like, I'm always looking for what's the level of diminishing returns. Like, when do they get so worn out that they just scream themselves to sleep? So you're like, okay, I want you guys to have fun and stuff, but you also have no ability to know like, hey, I should take a break. And then whenever you try to be like, hey, this take like an hour to sit still, they're like, but I don't want to stop. And you're like, no guys, you literally like, you will scream yourself to sleep tonight if I don't make you rest for like an hour. Please eat some protein, eat some food or something. And they just are so focused on doing the one thing that I'm like, guys, you have to come up for air at least a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, I love it. It's great. It's probably the best thing I ever did, having kids. But man, it's a challenge, and it is confusing as hell too. Like I follow all these different like child psychiatrists and behavior specialists, and there's one guy, he's called a playologist. He's like certified playologist for kids, and they all have kind of their different takes on how you're supposed to manage. And I'm just like, I'm so lost. I'm like, I don't even know what to do. I feel completely disarmed, in that like category. So I don't know what you guys do, but I mean, like we just before we came on, we had a complete meltdown. And I'm like downstairs, like, okay, deep breaths. Tell me about your feelings. Tell me what happened. Let's talk about it. Blah, blah, blah. It's like, it's tough.
No, it's like, I think parenting is extremely like weird because you never know like if you did a good job or not. Because you're hoping in the moments whenever your kid is deregulated, screaming, has no idea what's happening. Whenever you regulate yourself and you model like, hey, take a deep breath. Everything is better than you think it is. You're going to be okay. Let me help you express this and stuff. And then whenever you do it for like the 5th time in one day, by the time it gets to be like 7 p.m., if kids aren't ready to go to bed, I'm like, guys, seriously, I'm now deregulated. Everyone needs to go away from me for about 12 hours.
Yeah. I'm the same. I just kind of shut down and I'm quiet. I just, this one guy that I started following recently, he's like, when your child's having a meltdown, the worst thing you can do is talk to him. And I'm like, but wait a minute. The other guy told me I'm supposed to talk to him.
Yeah.
And then I'm supposed to get down on his level and talk to him and see eye to eye and talk to him about his emotions. This guy's like, don't say anything because all you're going to do is escalate. It's like, just let them burn their wick, let them have their moment, be there for them, let them know that they're safe, but don't say anything. And I'm like, I can do that.
Yeah.
I can totally do that.
I'm not going to lie. That's what we started doing for Ada. We just, if she has a meltdown, especially at night where she doesn't want to rock with me, she wants to rock with her mama and mama needs a rest. We put the gate up. She'll scream. She'll cry. She'll just want to try to hit me. I'll stop her from hitting me and say no. But other than that, I just let her get it out of her system. Yeah.
Just let her do it. Let her do it's funny because, we started this thing with using a timer.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it's great. So everything is timed like the next event. So like not going to bed, it's like, okay, we're going to go get our jammies on in 10 minutes.
Mhm.
You set the timer, and then you play, and everybody forgets about the time, and then the timer goes off. And it seems to work because it's not me saying,
third
let's
party.
go get, it's the timer saying we got to go get jammies on. So River will look at me and be like, oh, the timer went off. And he's like, I got to go get my jammies on. That's right. Let's go get jammies. And then we get the jammies on. I'm like, okay, in 15 minutes, we're going to brush teeth. And then he's like, no. It does this whole thing. And I'm like, I set the timer. And then we play, and 15 minutes goes by, and the timer goes off. And he's like, oh, we got to go brush teeth. And I'm like, that's right. It's a miracle. It's a miracle.
Awesome.
Otherwise it can be brutal.
It can be. It's like, whenever you have little kids, you realize how much like transition moments are really important, which I always use this example. Like if you're at a party talking to someone and your wife suddenly came up to you and was like, we're leaving now, let's go. You'd be like, okay, I was having a good time. Like, so I think if you're doing that to your kid, basically, if they're playing, they're having fun, they have no heads up, and suddenly like, okay, it's time for bed, go get your pajamas on. They kind of rightfully so should be like, what? Okay. Kind of in the middle of a story here. So setting expectations, I feel like setting expectations and consistent messaging is like PR 101 and parenting 101.
Yeah, as long as they can understand it.
Correct.
I have a tendency, I think I speak above their level because everything is like, they're like, don't talk to them like children, talk to them like they're a peer, talk to them like they're adult, like communicate with them. Don't just, yell at them or whatever. So again, it's like a lot of information, just like I'm getting all this information from all these different sources. And it's like, man,
you just got to figure out what works best for each child, because each child could be totally different in their responses that you have.
I know. And they are different. I mean, it's amazing how different Cosmo is from River personality wise, like just how completely different they are. Like River is a drummer. Like I don't know, you guys musicians, aren't musicians, right?
I am not.
Okay. He is just a straight up drummer. I mean, he's a straight up drummer. Doesn't want to wear clothes. He never wants to wear a shirt. He jumps first, asks questions later. He's jumping off the kitchen table. He's like flying around the room. He's banging on everything. Cosmo, on the other hand, real contemplative, just kind of watches, thinks about things before he jumps in. It's crazy how different they are.
Which one's firstborn and which one's secondborn?
River's first.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's interesting, because I've always heard it's usually the second one that's the hellion.
Well, maybe it's coming. He's only 2,
Maybe your oldest is such a hellion that your second is like, that kid's gonna get hurt.
Maybe he's gonna be like, I need to carve my own path here. How can I do this? How can I separate myself from this? Yeah. It's pretty interesting though to watch the two of them when they're in a situation. Like it's like River will just, River is much more outgoing. Cosmo's really shy. But he'll just like jump first, ask questions later kind of thing. Like, I'm going to jump off of this thing and see what happens, instead of being like, I'm going to watch you jump off of that and see what
What's your personality type? Are you more contemplative or more a jump first, ask questions later?
No, I'm a slow thinker. Like I take my time with stuff. But it's funny because my mom's like, you're getting exactly what you deserve. This is exactly how you were as a kid, and I'm like, so I guess I was kind of a hellion when I was a kid. Though, I do remember some of it, but I obviously don't remember like 2 and 3, but
I don't know if anyone does.
Yeah, no, but it's like, God, thank God. But yeah, so it's like, I don't know. My wife is super chill, like very chill, very quiet, doesn't say much. Like just kind of observes. So I'm thinking Cosmo gets that, and River's like more, I guess, like me. So
I guess
I'm really hoping that my second is nothing like me. Nothing like me. Or we're in for oh man. At age 5, I hopped in the car and put it in reverse and almost hit my best friend's house. I just did all types of crazy stuff. At early age all the way through college, and I'm like, if he has any amount of my personality, it's going to be
when is this when's this event happening? When does he do?
October 29th.
Oh,
So,
nice. Coming
close to Halloween, baby.
Yep.
Yeah. Wow.
Tim, does your wife work, or is one of you more primary parent of the two of you?
I think she is. I work at home.
Yeah.
Here I just work in my studio all day long. Um, I so she's kind of with them all day, but we're both home all day
Okay.
with them. So I try to come down and be a part of lunchtime. So mornings we wake up, we do breakfast. I get started work around 10. I
Mhm.
usually take a break around 12:31. Cosmo goes down for a nap, and then we have lunch, River and I and my wife, Dee. And then then I go back to work, and then, we break for dinner. And then if I have to, I go back to work, and then we do bedtime. So,
Yeah.
I'm dipping in and out all
Yeah.
day, if you
Nice.
will.
Yeah.
But I'm here. I'm just right upstairs if things start to go really south. Like sometimes we found that a character change, or like, we call it a wardrobe change is needed, where if there's something that's going on and things are maybe starting to teeter on getting out of control,
Mhm.
just switching out, just switch tag teaming,
Yeah.
just being like,
Yeah.
Yep.
go do something for 10 minutes. I'll take
Yep.
over. It just changes the dynamic, I think.
Yeah.
And so that's really kept us from, off the ledge a couple times, when I can kind of sense that things are getting maybe a little out of control downstairs, like crazy. And so I'll just stop what I'm doing. I'll just walk downstairs, and just me coming downstairs is enough to kind of break the spell of whatever's going on.
Gotcha.
And then there's like a redirection of energy. At least that's what I've found. So that's kind of a thing we do.
Nope.
Yeah.
We've done that multiple times, especially since I stay home. It's almost like I go out and go on a walk, or my wife goes on a walk after the insanity of kids has happened, and it makes a difference. So,
Yeah.
having that type of like partnership with your partner, of knowing like, hey, it's my time to get out for like 10 minutes, really does make a massive difference in your day-to-day life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We do that, but I am so stubborn sometimes where I'm just like, I got this. Just let it be.
Well,
and I don't have it.
There's two parts to this dynamic. It's one person has to acknowledge the other one needs help, and the other person has to acknowledge that they need help. So that's also
so that's the thing. It's like it's just like anything. There's that dynamic of the kind of the power struggle, and that's like one thing that we just had to have. My wife and I had a little sit down, and we're like, listen, like if I come in and I'm like, hey, take a break, like that's not me like being condescending to you or saying that you can't do the job or you're having trouble. It's me just being like, let's tag team this thing out, and I'll jump in here and switch the dynamic up. It really makes, it seems like when like I'm the play guy. I'm like play guy. I'm like, daddy's here, let's play and have high energy. And then, so sometimes if I'm playing with the kids or I'm with River or something, and it's high energy, but it needs to come down. Like if Dee just comes in and then she's like, I got this, I'll take it from here. I'm like, okay, cool. And then I just take a break.
Yeah.
The whole thing just kind of comes down to a much more manageable level because, I think everybody kind of plays their part, and mine is like, we're going to play like the floor is lava and we're going to wrestle and like all these things, So, but it's, it's every day. It's a thing.
Yep.
It starts at 5 a.m.
Oh, dude. I can't. My kids usually wake up at like 6 or so. If it's before 6, I feel like I'm like, nope. I just stop. For some reason, between 5 and 6 a.m., I'm like, please don't be awake. I can't. That's so early.
And our time for my wife and I is after they go to bed. So, 8:30, maybe 8. I think, and we put him down by 8, but then I usually stay with River till he falls asleep. And that could be anything from like 30 to 40 minutes. And then we come downstairs, and then finally it's like, okay, let's relax. So we try to stretch that out as much as possible.
Yep.
So sometimes we're up till like 1 and we're like, man, we got to go to bed. Like we're going to be up in like 4 hours,
Oh, man.
So it's
how do you run your life the day after 4 hours of sleep?
The thing is, it's really hard. So like I was talking to somebody the other day, and it was like that. We stayed up late and watched a movie. Like just we were just acting crazy. It was like that we started a movie at we started like this like long movie at like, 9 p.m. and like
Yeah.
we were just nuts.
Wow,
And
rebels.
so so we didn't go to bed till late. And the next day, man, I tell you what, I was having conversations with people and I was struggling for words, like simple words like cabinet
Yeah.
and doorknob,
And yeah.
It was crazy. I'm like, wow, I need a nap. I need some coffee. I need something. But yeah, it's tough. It's a lot of, I toured for years.
Mhm.
And so I'm used to getting like 4 or 5 hours of sleep, So when I was out touring, I mean, I would kind of go to bed when the bus would roll, which is like midnight 1. And then you wake up when the bus stops, because it's just like you feel the bus stop and you're awake. And then that could be sometimes like 3, 4 o'clock in the morning and you can't go back to sleep. So you just have to run your whole day on, 4 hours of sleep. So it's not my first choice, but it can be done. I shouldn't be driving sometimes, though.
Yes. It feels like, because everyone's like, oh man, I pulled all-nighters in college. I stayed up too late multiple times in my life. I can do this. This is fine. But it's just such a drastically different energy whenever it's like a 4-year-old who wants a different cup of milk as opposed to like fumbling through guitar chords. It's just a different.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Pull up and do an all-nighter and be able to sleep the rest of the day. Whereas if we do a all-nighter now, we have chaos the rest of the day.
Then you're just a jerk to your entire family until you go back to bed.
Yeah, we get a lot of that. There's a lot of that. Like when we're asleep, got a lot of sleep deprivation going on. Like we got to really watch the way we interact with each other, my wife and I, because we can easily get irritated quickly with each other, but not realizing that on a normal day this would be nothing. This would be just like normal interaction. But it's good. I mean, it's so different though now. Like we talked about this before, but like, man, when I was growing up, it was really funny. I told this story, and my mom swears that she didn't do this, but I know she did on multiple occasions.
Yes.
But like when we were kids, and she would hit the ceiling with us. She'd send us outside, and this could be early in the morning. It'd be like 9 o'clock, because we were up at 7, like watching cartoons. So by 9, she's how it is. 2 hours, man.
It's an eternity.
It's like being it's like being in it's like being in like trench warfare for 2 hours. How exhausting that is. It's like, but so she would send us outside, and I swear, often she would be like, "Go outside and play. Like ride your bikes, go play." And she'd shut the door, and I'd hear her lock it behind her. And she's like, "Oh, I never did that." I'm like, "You did, you did." And that was basically like her saying, "Come back at dinner." It's 9 a.m., go play, come back at dinner. And I guess it was just a different time period because we could do that in our neighborhood and there was never a safety concern. We always had our friends and we were always, within the block or whatever until we got older. But, it's funny. My wife did that. My wife did that the other day. She's like, I sent the kids outside and I locked the door behind them, and River heard it. And he knocked on the door and opened, and he's like, "You locked the door." And she's like, "No, I didn't."
No, I didn't. Trust me, Mom needs 10 minutes and everyone will be better. Just trust me.
Yeah. I guess he was like, he kept coming in and out. So he'd go outside and he'd come in and go out and come in and go out. So she was just like,
"Stop it."
And I was like,
"You're staying out."
Yeah, they're safe. They're in the backyard. It's fenced in. There's nothing out there that's going to hurt them.
Being a parent is hilarious because it makes you realize what makes you ridiculously angry that you never anticipated to make you ridiculously angry. Like just the thought of one of my kids opening and closing a door 10 times. I'm like, stop it. Just
I know.
Stop it. And that's not a good reason to be angry, but that would make me furious.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is my biggest pet peeve forever, and it's just the way I'm wired, and it is definitely something I have to work on, and I've been working on for decades, is I have a really, I don't like to repeat myself. And so
you sound like my wife.
So it's like, this is typically what I do is if I'm in a position where somebody's asking my advice or whatever, like for instance, like, "Hey, what would you do here?" And I tell them, and then, they ask me again. I will tell people what I'm thinking, in my opinion. I'll do it at least 3 times and then I'm done. I don't do it again after that, or if I need something from somebody, I'll ask them 3 times and then I'm done. It's like, I don't know why I picked 3. It's like biblical, like that's like a biblical thing. It's like, if it was good enough for, the history of the world, like 3 times this, 3 times that, 3 times, it's like, I'm done after 3. Right. Yeah. So, and I had kids at 48. Mm-hmm. So, it's not like I'm in my 20s and I'm like, oh man, this is a weird little personality quirk of mine I need to work on. I've got the next, 30 years to work on. I'm 48 now. I'm pretty much
this is who you are.
Steadfast. Yeah, steadfast in my ways. So I'm learning. I repeat myself constantly, and it's just like I really have to just be like, the deep breaths and everything that these people are. I take it. I'm like, I have to take a deep breath, count to 10. But it's like I have a hard time after 3 or 4 times with just being like, I just gotta.
Well, at some point in time, it feels like, because in any other relationship, it'd be disrespectful. Like if
absolutely,
so whenever it's a 4-year-old and they literally can't comprehend what you're saying, how do you keep your cool? Because you're trying to teach them, like, you want them to learn from you, but also like, can you just listen the second time? Not
yeah, right.
I know you're 2, but you need to listen.
Yep.
Well, what's the thing is though. Yeah, I question that because like everybody's like, oh, they don't know what they're doing. They don't understand their emotions, but yet they're like, talk to them about your emotions. It's like, but wait a minute, you just told me they don't understand their emotions. So how can I talk to somebody about their emotions when they don't understand their emotions? But you know what? If I say, you want a donut? I only have to say it once. You want a cookie? Boom. It's like it registers. He knows what I'm saying. He knows what I'm saying.
They're smarter than what they look, huh?
Yeah, he knows what I'm saying. I don't buy this like, oh, they don't understand. Like that it takes them like one guy was like, when you give your child a directive, give them at least 5 minutes for it to process. He's like, because as adults, we're like, hey, let's get our jammies on. And then you expect somebody as an adult, you would process that immediately. But I guess children, it takes a minute. So he's like, just, if they're not complying, just sit back, go find a chair, sit in it, and just give them 5 minutes. And then they'll eventually come around. And, sure as shit, it works. That actually does work. But I feel like there's a choice being made there. Yeah. Like it seems to only take 5 minutes when it's something they don't want to do.
Yep.
But if I'm hey, you want to go to the zoo? Immediately. Yeah, absolutely. I want to go to the zoo. Hey, you want to go for a car ride? Yeah. You want some ice cream? Yeah. So I feel like there's some selective listening going on.
Hey, do you want to put your shoes on? It's going to take me 20. Oh,
Interesting. I don't know if they do this at Ada's daycare or not, but I do a 3-second. Like I'll say, I'm going to count to 3, and at 3, you better come over here and help me put your pajamas on.
Put your dang pajamas on.
She does. At 2, she starts getting ready, and then by 3, she is over there. And I'm like,
how
all
old
right.
Is she?
She's 2.5. She'll be 3 in September.
That's a miracle. Yep. Wow.
But I guess the teachers probably do something like that with all the kids.
That's also funny to me because I always thought I would never be the parent who would count to 3 to make a child do something. And now it's every hour,
Yeah.
Well, that worked for us as a kid because we knew what was on the other side of 3. It was like we had the fear of God put in us that if we got to 3, there was going to be some serious consequences. Yep. But with me, I feel so disarmed. I'm like 1, 2, 2.5.
Yeah.
Don't make me say 3. And then you get to 3 and they're like, and what? Or what? And it's
I will usually come after them and grab her.
You're gonna pick up and go to them.
Yeah. I'm like, all right, at 3 and she doesn't come, then I'm like, all right, Daddy's coming to get you. I'm picking you up and I'm making you go over to.
Yeah. I know. It's so confusing because like the other stuff that's present is like, okay, so what's a consequence? Because there has to be a consequence, right? And obviously it doesn't have to be corporal or anything like that, but there has to be some sort of like, stimulus response. Let's just get down to the most basic, like, Pavlovian kind of thing. Stimulus response, action, reaction. And it's like, what do you do? Like everybody's like, there's so many things like, don't bribe your child. I'm like, bribe them. I'm like, what is that? That's to bribe somebody there's intent, and it's usually something that's illegal.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm not bribing. I'm negotiating. I'm like hard negotiating with this guy right now. I'm like, we're up to 2
negotiating
cookies.
for my sanity.
Yeah. Like I started with half a cookie, and he's negotiated me up to 2 just to put his shoes on. And I'm like,
but
they're like
per shoe right now. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. He's no dummy. He's like, there's 2 shoes. I get 2 cookies. I'm like, wait a minute, that's not how it works.
Man.
I was going to go half a shoe, half a cookie for each shoe.
Yep.
And it's like, I'm not bribing. Like, I feel like they're like, well, don't bribe your children. I'm like, bribe? That's a strong word. Like, I feel like there's criminal intent. Yeah.
I feel like a bribe is like, hey man, if you don't put your shoes on, I'm telling mom you peed on the plant. I don't know.
I know. And then it's like, don't use this as a negative reinforcement. So I'm like, if I'm like, hey River, if you don't do this, you're gonna have to go to your room. And my wife's always like, don't use this room. It's a punishment. I'm like, I'm not. What am I supposed to do? Where do I send him? What is the consequence for not listening to dad? Like, is it just like, okay, dad throws his hands up in the air and walks away? Like that's not going to go well.
We've done the stairs. We just put her on the stairs and say,
on the
stairs.
You gotta
sit there.
Oh yeah. Timeout. Well, that's the thing is like, so they talk about timeout. So there's like this whole theory that I've read about timeout and how that's kind of like, not really the thing to do anymore. And because it's like,
I've probably done a lot of things I'm not supposed to do.
I know. I'm like, I think I'm thinking about it too much. I'm just like, you know what? Timeout sounds good. I like timeout. Let's bring timeout back, but
I think
that's a whole thing.
You're trying to think of like a negative reinforcement to a behavior that you don't like. And a negative reinforcement has negative attributes to it. So
exactly.
How do you it's inherently not a good thing. Like you're creating a scenario so that your child doesn't do something again. And you teach them like, this is bad. So a bad thing happens next. It's a weird formula that I don't like. Same. Like, do I want to put my kid in timeout? No. When they go in timeout, do they then not do it again? They do. Ugh, what do I do with that?
So my parents were huge fans of positive reinforcement for everything that we did. And I'm a huge fan of that too. But I tell you what, nowadays, that some of the positive reinforcement my parents did, they call it a bribe, or they call it like, don't reward your kids with food. And I'm like, well, what else do kids like?
Food.
They love food. Yeah. Like they're like, well, don't make food a reward because it's going to cause an eating disorder later on. It's like, oh, for Christ's sakes. It's like, all right, what can I do? What can I do? Tell me what I can do and I'll do it. Just tell me one thing. Give me one thing that I can do. And all 5 of you need to be consistent on this because, everybody's got their own approach. And it's like, I just sit here confused half the time. I'm just like, I don't.
If there was a book that could tell you everything step by step, that person would be a billionaire.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I like the I take there's two guys, one woman and one guy, and the one woman is like, obviously don't yell at your kids, which is really hard not to raise your voice and yell.
It is.
But to just calm yourself down and remove yourself from the don't be like, I'm out of here, or yell at them, but just be like, I'm gonna go sit in the other room, and when you're ready, come get me.
Yeah.
And that usually works. I like that approach. And then I like this other approach. Like when they're having a meltdown, just let them melt, just let them burn that wick, and then just sit there and just wait for them patiently to do their thing. And then not really escalate by being, like the back and forth,
Yep.
Which is actually good advice for almost any interaction with any human, It's like, say less. Listen more.
Let them vent. And then.
Yeah.
I think it's crazy because it normally comes down to what do you and your wife agree is the correct response to things, right? That's normally the metric of success or whatever you go off of as you talk about your day with your wife and you're like, hey, this is how we reacted to this with our kids. Is that something in the future? Is that how we want to react? You do all of that. But you get to 9 p.m. and the kids are still awake for some reason. And you don't always have the time to debrief with your partner of here's how today went. Do we think this would is this how we want to raise our kids today, basically? And then it comes 9:15 and you're like, so I am just numb in general. Yeah. And we just watch Colbert and go to bed or something.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. We usually end the night with, try to end the night with, if it's been a rough day of we watch some TV and unwind, obviously.
Yeah.
But usually while we're like in bed, we're usually like, man, we got two really good kids, even though they're really kind of a pain in the ass. They really are lucky. We're really lucky to have this. We're really lucky. We're really, really lucky.
Yeah, of course.
You know?
Is there, I know you said that you had a kid whenever you were 48. Would you be willing to say why you waited so long to have a kid? Or is it just how life worked out that you had kids at an older age?
No, there were opportunities to have the kids earlier, but it was a choice that I made. Like my brother and my sister both had kids when they were younger. And, it's funny because it's like at the time they were living what I live right now, but they were doing it in their 20s and 30s. And I was just kind of like working and kind of pursuing my career and doing things. And they're always like, oh man, must be so nice to like be out on tour and playing all these cool shows and like being in the studio and just, traveling around the world and stuff. And now that's all they do. Mm-hmm. They go and travel around and they have fun. They're like in Mexico and then they're in like, wherever. And I'm at home, like raising two kids now in my, so the roles are reversed, but it was kind of a, I really could, I think if I had kids earlier and all things staying the same, it would have been probably a really bad situation. Like I would have been not around or not available as available as I am now. So mainly because as working in the music career, working in the music industry, you really have to spend a lot of time establishing yourself and getting your business going, so that takes a lot of time and energy, and you have to be a little selfish. And so, I tell people I'm glad that I waited because I was fully me when I had them. So now I can be myself with them and give my time to them where I don't have to like feel like I'm like, I'm at home missing an opportunity or I can't take this gig because of this, that, or the other thing. So, so yeah, I feel like, I just had this conversation with two really young guys the other day and they're like, so you think we should wait? And I was like, whenever you feel like you are you, then you can have a mini you,
It's true.
Because I'm telling you, as soon as you have them, all your priorities in life completely shift, So,
did you have a hard time with that, with your first child?
No, not at all. I loved it. We had him during COVID, so the whole world shut down. We had every day together. I mean, we still have every day together, but we had a blast. So it was fun. Yeah.
How long ago did you switch from touring musician to like a producer and studio work?
Oh, well, I've always done studio work, but I got off the road in 2014.
Okay.
So yeah, it's been about 10 years, but I was touring, pretty heavily most of that time, but decided to settle down and I was like, this is a great time for me to have kids. So cool. I'm home. Yeah. I don't plan on going anywhere. So I haven't traveled since. I haven't been on a plane. I haven't left. Other than to drive up to St. Louis to visit family, I haven't gone anywhere. And I haven't had a desire to go anywhere, man. I'm perfectly content not getting in a plane or on a bus or doing any of that stuff. So,
well, I mean, you throw in a pandemic and having two children in the past 4 years, and there's a lot of reasons to be like, staying home isn't too bad of an idea.
I know. So Devin, you stay home with the kids, and Justin, what do you do during the day? Do you work from home or?
No, unfortunately not. I would love to work from home. I'm a partner and executive operations manager for a landscape company. So,
oh, cool.
Yeah, even during COVID, I had to go in and work with lots of people, make sure that we're mowing everybody's grass and taking care of them.
Yeah.
So, but
during COVID was weird because like the music industry just completely shut down. Nobody knew. Nobody really knew what was going to happen next. So, a good friend of mine and I decided to get our real estate license.
Oh, did you really?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So if you need to buy a house, let me know. I'd be happy to help you. But yeah, so we got that. I was like, I've always, he and I both have always done homes kind of as an investment. Mm-hmm. When I was touring, I'd buy a house, live in it, clean it up, convert it, whatever. I wouldn't really flip it because I was in it for at least 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
But I would, take out the carpet, put in hardwood floors, paint it, make it look like Starbucks, and then sell it, So, and it was great because I didn't really own anything when I was touring. I could fit everything. I mean, I'm on my this is my 9th home personally, and every time before that, I could fit everything I owned in a 24-foot rider, and I was so proud of that.
Yeah,
so proud of that. I was like,
And
I
then,
can rent a rider
and then
truck.
kids came along.
Yeah, and then once you realize, man, once you settle in, like after 10 years, you're like, God, I got a lot of crap now.
Yeah,
it's like crazy.
Do you have a tape record? Do you record to tape in your studio? Is that a tape deck?
I do have some tape. Yeah, I have a tape machine.
Yeah.
There, and then I got an analog console.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of analog guy, but I don't really track at my. I mean, if I track at my studio, I'm tracking like vocals or overdubs. Okay, cool. Most of the heavy work is being done at studios around town. So
cool, sweet.
Yeah.
How long have you lived in Nashville for?
20 years.
20 years, cool,
and,
nice.
Yeah, well, it'll be 21 and 21 years in March. This March. So
cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, been here for a minute.
Yeah. Do you have any other parent friends who are also like in their 50s and have young kids, or do you feel like it's just you guys?
Well, my wife is 40.
Oh, okay.
So she's 10 years younger than me. And we have some friends who have kids that are in their like late 30s, early 40s. A lot of people in our circles are kind of like that, like had kids a little bit later.
Yeah.
It's funny because like when you go to the doctor, they refer to you as elderly. If you're like, I think over the age of 35, they're like, oh, you know, as elderly parents.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
whoa,
geriatric.
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 Yeah. My wife hates that. Yeah. She's 36. So yeah, she's considered geriatric.
Oh, is it geriatric? Right? Is that the word? Is that the word they use? Geriatric? Oh, okay. Sorry. Yeah. Geriatric, which is worse. That's even worse.
It is much worse than elderly.
That feels like you're in like a convalescent or something.
Elderly implies wisdom, I feel like, to some extent.
Right.
That's the word elder baked into it. Geriatric is like, so when you die next week.
Yeah. It's like, come on, you know? So it's been good. Like, I'm kind of happy that I waited to have kids, you know? Though my sister's like, man, sure wish you could come to Acapulco with us.
And you're like, man, I'm good.
Yeah. I'm like, you know what? Do I have to fly? I can't get there by boat, right? I guess I could, but I don't want to fly.
So are you just not a big flyer?
No, I had my last year and a half of touring. The world was telling me to stop touring. I had 4 emergency landings.
Oh gosh!
And I was in a bus crash.
Oh dude!
Oh geez!
Yeah. So I was like, after that, I was like, I got it. I got the message.
Yeah,
it's time. It's
stay
time.
home.
So, yeah, and I got to the point where I was so afraid to fly. I was taking like Klonopin just to get on planes, which is like, I went to my doctor and I was like, listen, man, I've had 4 emergency landings in the last year. I really if I'm not doing a crossword puzzle, like I would have to take like Klonopin and I would buy like a crossword puzzle book like that big. And I would just put my headphones on, focus on the crossword and like medicate to get on a plane. Cause I was so, and I know it's not rational, but that's kind of what he explained to me. It's like Klonopin is different than some of these other drugs that kind of just relax you. He's like, Klonopin's keeps your irrational thoughts from getting into your rational thoughts. And I was like, that's what I need. Yeah. Because I know it's irrational. Yeah. But still.
Dude,
anytime a plane, it's like
what goes through your, like, I've never had the experience of an emergency landing. What's that actually like? Because that sounds terrifying.
It's scary as hell.
Yeah.
No, like, it's the worst. Oh, it's awful. Like the first one was a flight from Philadelphia to Pittsburgh, which feels really benign. And like, that's like a up down, like by the time you hit cruising altitude, you start landing. Right. And the cockpit caught on fire.
What?
And the whole cabin of the whole plane filled with smoke.
Oh, and Jesus.
Because it was a fire.
What?
Because it was a fire, so my brother-in-law is a pilot and he explained it to me. And he's like, the reason why they did the maneuver that they did was because it's the quickest way to get a large plane like that down to the ground as fast as possible. So that's what they were trying to do. And they do a corkscrew down. They don't. So like normally like you're landing and it's this like really measured kind of long approach. But if you have to get down fast, you just dip, turn, dip, bank, and they do it like 6 times.
No.
And then you're finally down there. So it's like, and then when I say dip, I mean they're nose diving. They're nose dive, and then they hard bank to turn, then they nose dive and hard bank. And it's in the back, you don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
So you're like, we're dying. We're dying. Like,
this
is how it happens. It's like you nose dive in the planes. The plane feels completely out of control.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like there's any kind of like, it's not like this this trained approach, but evidently it is. But in the back of the plane, it feels like you're dying.
Yeah.
Now,
and so
did you guys land at an airport, or did you land somewhere?
Okay. Harrisburg.
I wasn't sure if like you couldn't make it to an airport and you had to land somewhere else. I'm like,
no. So we got off. We got off. So I'm not an enormously religious person. I would say I'm more spiritual than I am religious. And as a pilot of a plane, I want, like, that's fine. You can have all your religious beliefs and stuff that you want, but I really want my pilot to be like fact-based science guy, right?
Yeah.
And so like, he gets off, the pilot comes and they put us at a gate, which is like on this part of the airport that's completely closed down. We're all just sitting there, everybody's freaking out. The pilot comes on and he's like, we were at 30,000 feet and there was a minor explosion in the cockpit, which then caught on fire. The instrument panel caught on fire and we couldn't extinguish it. And it was just so much smoke that we couldn't see and our instruments were out. So we just did an emergency landing maneuver is what you guys felt. He explained it. Emergency landing maneuver. And he's like, by the grace of God, we were over Harrisburg and we could land. And I was like,
whoa.
I'm out. So, and then he was like, I'm like, so I was like, he was like, okay. And so I kind of like looked around at everybody and I was like, I'm not getting back on another plane right now.
Yeah.
Cause they're like, we'll get you on another plane and get you to Pittsburgh. And I'm like, no. And I just looked at the artist that I was working with and I'm like, the show's not till tomorrow. Like, I'm going to go down and rent a van and drive to Pittsburgh. What, you in? And everybody was like, nah, man, we're going to get on the next plane. I was like, okay, cool. I'll see you guys at the hotel. And so I go down and I rent a van. And sure enough, like while I'm waiting for the van, like everybody starts coming down the escalator and they're like, I think we're going to go with you. I think
it's like if a roller coaster malfunctioned, you were hanging upside down in the roller coaster, you get off and they're like, by the way, this roller coaster line has no one in it. Do you want to go get on this roller coaster? Like,
you guys can go again for free.
Yeah.
Like you don't have to wait in line. We'll let you go again.
Yeah.
I was like, we're good.
Go to the front. Go to the front. Yeah, you're fine.
Yeah.
Oh.
What are you, crazy?
Yeah.
So then on the way home, getting back to Kia's, this is my Kia story.
Yeah.
On the way home, everybody flew back to Boston. I live in Nashville, so my flight was a Southwest flight from Pittsburgh to Nashville, direct flight, early. And I was like, I can't. I just can't get on this plane, man. I'm not doing it. So I rented a car and drove back from Pittsburgh to Nashville, and I rented a Kia Optima. Have you guys ever driven a Kia Optima?
That is
a sports car.
I had that car a couple of years ago.
Did you really?
Yeah, it's a sports car, man.
I love it.
It's like So I go down to the rental thing and I'm like, hey man, give me the fastest, funnest, coolest car you guys have. I was like, you guys have like a Mustang or like a Corvette or something. He's like, we got a Kia Optima. And I was like, Kia Optima. No, dude, I need a muscle car right now. I need a big muscle car. He's like, trust me, this is a sports car. He's like, it is a fast, awesome car. You'll enjoy driving it. And I was like, okay. And I drove that thing from Pittsburgh back to Nashville, probably no less than 85 miles an hour all the way. And I actually got back to Nashville before my flight landed.
Really?
Believe it or not. Yeah.
Nice.
Because it had a connection. It wasn't direct. It was a connection through like Atlanta or whatever. But yeah, I was supposed to get back at like 4 or 5 o'clock and I got back into Nashville at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So it's awesome. Yeah.
It's fun.
So, yeah, man. I have no idea what I would do if I had to go through an emergency landing. I think that would be, oh my gosh.
Oh, man. Yeah, so we had four. I had one in Edinburgh because we couldn't land because of the wind. I had one in Chicago going to Cleveland, and again, the cabin started filling with smoke. There was something in the back of the plane. And then the last one was in Vegas. guys ever flown into Vegas in the afternoon?
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah.
If you're gonna fly into Vegas in the summertime, in the spring or summertime, fly in either early in the morning or late at night, because the heat coming off of the ground is pushing up, and the planes struggle to get down. It was like the most turbulent flight I've ever been on. It was crazy. And the pilot's like, this is normal. This is normal. It's like 110 down on the ground, and the heat's just rising. So the plane's having a hard time landing. I'm like, dude.
That's, I need this plane to land, right? Like, the kind of what happens when it's done flying. So,
yeah. I was just like, and the whole time my brother-in-law was like, oh man, it's like almost impossible to crash a plane. I was like, really? I don't know about that.
99% still leaves 1%.
That's right. Yeah. That's right. Yeah.
Gosh.
And then of course my brother's a math major. So I'm like, well, I guess it makes sense. Like if I've had it 4 times this year, chances are it's not going to happen again. And he's like, actually, statistically, your chances start over every time you get on a plane.
Really?
Thank you. Thanks for that.
Awesome. Yeah. Really, so anyway. So yeah, I'm home with the kids now. It's great. I love it. I will take it.
Yeah, that's God telling you not to get back up on a plane.
Pretty much.
No, that's for sure.
Or to buy a Kia Optima, one of the two.
Yeah. The Telluride might be in my future.
Dude, the Telluride, man, I'm selling it. It is a really nice car for how inexpensive it is.
Just make sure it's not 21 or younger, and you don't park it in the city.
There you go.
Hotel parking lot.
That's what a lot of people say is like when a company comes out with a new model car, not to get it the first year or so.
Yeah.
Because they're like working out the kinks. So
yeah. Tim, how we end every episode is we ask every guest the same 5 questions. It's not rapid fire, but Justin will ask the first one and then move on to the next one.
Okay.
All right.
The pressure.
Tim, did you have any backup names for Cosmo and...
No. Really?
Who was your first again?
River, right? Yeah.
River.
Yeah.
River.
We tossed around a bunch of names and then landed on River because we were watching this TV show and one of the characters' name was Rio. And I was like, what is that? River. I was like, that's cool. So then that stuck. And then my wife, we were like thinking about names for Cosmo, and she's like, what do you think about Cosmo? And I was like, okay, sure. Yeah, it sounds cool. He sounds quirky. That could be fun. Yeah. So that was it. No backups.
Nice.
Cool.
Nice.
Yeah.
Next question. Do you have a favorite TV dad?
Favorite TV dad?
Yeah.
Oh my God. I'm not a sitcom guy, but
it could be a movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a tough one. I mean, TV dads I grew up with. I don't know if those count, but
they would.
Like that's a tough one. I don't know. I can't come up with one. Favorite TV dad. Man, I don't know. That's tough.
Okay, I'll give you a backup question. I have a list of backup questions also.
Okay,
do you have a go-to replacement curse word? Like instead of saying the F word or dropping a curse word, do you have like whenever your kids are listening, they do something that really angers you? Do you have a go-to phrase that you say instead of a curse word?
Yeah, I'm like, usually just like, I'll say like a version of fuck. I mean, fuck is probably my favorite curse word. Yep. And it slips out all the time, man. That's another thing, being older with kids, like at 48, it's like, it's baked in at that point.
Yeah. You're stuck in your ways.
Yeah. Like Jesus Christ is another one too. And it's so funny because I'm just like, Jesus Christ. Like I say that all the time. Yeah. And so
cheese and crackers.
Yeah. Cheese and crackers. Yeah, totally. What the F? I say F a lot. Yep. But what's funny is River's starting to mimic some of that stuff. So
of course he is.
Yeah. So I got to be careful because that's still kind of implied. It's not going to fly at school.
Yeah. No, it's not. And that's what makes you stop cursing in front of your kids. It's not them repeating you. It's whenever, they'll say it in front of a teacher. And then a teacher will be like, where do you think you heard this phrase? And you're like, I don't know. I've never said those words before.
Just
mine.
reverse it.
So I think the worst is when I'm driving.
Yeah.
So Knucklehead is my new.
That's a good
That's
one.
my new one.
Yep.
My new one is you freaking knucklehead.
You effing knucklehead.
You effing knucklehead.
That's a solid replacement dad curse word. That's
There
a
you
definite.
go.
Someone just cut you
Yeah.
off on 440 and you're screaming, you effing knucklehead.
That's it.
We should make it. We should make a list of that. That's hilarious.
We should.
Yeah. All right. Next question. Least favorite kids show.
Least favorite.
Yeah.
One that your kids watch that you're like, oh my gosh, please not again.
Man, I
It could
really
be a
like
movie as
a
well.
lot of them. Yeah, I really like a lot of them. I think the one that I don't like is Daniel Tiger.
Oh, okay.
Comes off a little creepy at times. There's like a little creepiness in there, which is funny because it is a spinoff of Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. Yep. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Mr. Rogers. Yep. Daniel Tiger was the little puppet tiger. Yeah. But you know what? Like Mr. Rogers, I love the guy. There's some weird stuff, like the whole king was weird on Mr. Rogers. It always made me uncomfortable as a kid to see the king, and Daniel Tiger was a little weird, but that's weird. But we watch some good stuff. They watch some good stuff. There's some really good stuff out there, like Singing Walrus. You guys familiar with the Singing Walrus?
What is Singing Walrus?
Oh, go check out Singing Walrus. They've got some of the best songs. I download them on my phone. We listen to them all the time. We're in the car. We'll put on Singing Walrus. Yeah, it's great. Singing Walrus is great. They watch Yo Gabba Gabba. They love that. That's fun. A good one. It's a little annoying at times, but it's pretty good. But yeah, I think Daniel Tiger is the one I don't like.
Okay. Yo Gabba Gabba was like early 2000s, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's like all in rerun.
Yeah.
We watch Rosie's Rules. That's a little. I like Bluey.
Yeah.
Rosie's Rules is kind of a yawn for me. I feel like Rosie's a little
never heard
advanced.
Of that.
Yeah, it's just some.
Was it
PBS?
Was Yo Gabba Gabba? Was that like the Aquabats? Because they always had really like unique musical guests on that show. I feel like okay.
There was like a moment there in the 2000s where like bands were vying to get on Yo Gabba Gabba. Yeah. It was like, that was like their launch. That was like their platform to launch from. They're like, man, they're having all of this success because they were on Yo Gabba Gabba. And I remember hearing that and being like, what?
Yep.
What?
It's like
now I know.
Modest Mouse played on like the OC once. Like the early 2000s was weird for like plug-in placement, man.
Yeah, totally.
I think Taking Back Sunday did a song on Yo Gabba Gabba called We All Love Our Pets. So there's there's like these random, I don't even want to call them B-sides. It's like D-sides of like pop punk bands playing kids songs on Yo Gabba Gabba.
Yeah, there was a lot of also like quirky indie rock dudes that would be on there, and they, bands that were like very New York centric, because I think they shot that in New York, if I'm not mistaken. So the music supervisor was probably New York. She's like, we got all these cool weird bands, we can just have them come on.
Here's Interpol on Yo Gabba Gabba.
Exactly.
Sorry, Justin.
It's cool though.
No, I'm just trying to look up Yo Gabba Gabba because I never
once you see the characters, it'll make a little bit more sense. Next question. Do you have a favorite kids toy or activity? Like whenever your kids play it or do it, you actually enjoy doing it with them?
Yeah, we have a bunch that we've kind of made up.
That's fun.
Yeah, most of it involves them climbing on me or jumping on me in some way.
Nice.
So, but yeah, that's it. We have like all these little. That was the one thing that like when I was talking to my wife about having kids, I was like, she's like, what are you looking forward to the most with having kids? And I'm like, having all these little things that are just totally inside, so inside, like what we do, like little phrases or things that we name it, like, cause that, like growing up, that's what we had in my family. And so like, we could like say something in public and nobody would understand what we were talking about, but everybody knew in the family knew what we were talking about, so yeah. So we have like these dumb little, like these funny, silly little names we make up for stuff. So yeah,
that's awesome.
That's it. Yeah.
All right. Is it me again?
Yep. Final question.
All right.
Final question.
Dun, dun, dun.
The moment of your kid's life that you're most excited to be a part of.
Currently, or just in general? So
just in general.
I delivered my second son in my car in Shelby Park.
Oh.
And that will probably be like a defining moment for me. Obviously wasn't planned.
That's a great story.
We were on our way to the hospital, and Cosmo was coming, and he wasn't stopping. And so we live in East Nashville, and we live in the Rosebank neighborhood. And for us to get out to the world, we go through the park and jump out on Davison Street by the stadium, Shelby Korean veterans. So that's how we get to Vanderbilt. And we're driving, and my wife, as we enter the park, she's like, my water broke. And I was like, okay, what does that mean? Like, can we get there? Are we cool? And she's like, I'm having this baby right now. You got to pull over. And I was like, no. No, you're not. She's like, I'm having it. And I'm like, no. And so she's like, pull over right now. So I pull over. It's Shelby Park. I don't know if you're familiar with Shelby Park, which is that lake with the baseball diamonds.
Yep.
So we go past the lake, and I get to a point where I can pull over, and we're basically right behind the baseball diamonds. And that kid is coming, man. Dude. He's coming. He is coming. Got on the phone, 911. They talked me through it. He was born right there in the car, and it was really an amazing experience. Obviously, it was awesome. Yeah. I was kind of there for River because we did this type of birthing it's called hypno babies, where it's all natural. And it's like self-meditation, hypnosis, self-hypnosis is what it is. And so I was in like what they call the catcher's position. Yeah. When River was being born. So I was like right there. So I did kind of see it go down, and I was felt like I was ready for it, but I wasn't. I was totally freaking out. Though everyone who hears, I have a copy of the 911 call.
Do you really?
Nice.
Yeah. So go to my Instagram. If you go to my Instagram, there's a picture of Cosmo. He's like looks like a little Russian bear. He's got like a hat on and stuff like that. It's his birthday. We posted a little thing. We posted the 911 call, and everybody's like, I can't believe how calm you are. And I was like, oh my God, I came on. It's so funny because the 911 call is so G-rated. It's absolutely 100% G-rated. And I didn't swear I didn't cuss once on that thing. And which is surprising to me because the whole time I was doing it, all in my head was just fuck. I was just I was like,
God. What's happening?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
But so I delivered him right in the front seat of my Ford truck. Dude, it's like I'm a damn Yankee for sure. Growing up in St. Louis and coming from LA, and I lived in Boston, I lived in Philly. And I moved down here, and I am definitely a damn Yankee, but I earned my Confederate stripes by giving birth to my son in the front seat of my Ford.
That's crazy. So did the ambulance come to you, or did you guys end up going to the hospital?
They got there quick. It was great. And nobody knew. Nobody in the park even knew what was going on until the ambulance showed up. Yeah. The EMT showed up, and then they were like, what's going on? And like my wife, it's crazy. Like she didn't make a sound.
Really?
Like on the 911 call, you can't hear her at all. I'm freaking out. She's didn't make a sound.
What?
She's just, yeah. And what's interesting is when you give birth in the hospital, they tilt you back and then they expect you to push. Yeah. Which is just goes against all things physics.
Yeah.
She was upright. Like she was kind of she wasn't in the chair or sitting back. She leaned over the dashboard. Mm-hmm. And so gravity was working with us. And man, that baby, as soon as its head popped out, it was like, just dropped right out. It was crazy. Right into my hands. I mean, it just dropped right out. It was nuts. I was like, this is totally the way to have a baby. Like, why are they putting you in a bed and tilting your hips up and your head down and then expecting you to push it? Yeah. Like, that's crazy.
Did you have
the way you're supposed to do it?
Did you have a blanket or anything in the car you could wrap the kid up in, or were you just kind of looking around like, oh, what do
No, we didn't have. We had a towel. Gosh. I had a towel. Actually, we had a blanket, but it was in the back. But I had to go get it, and then we wrapped him. And it was warm outside, so it was really warm. It was like early September. It was still warm, and so we just let him rest on Dee's chest, and really made sure he was breathing because they come out and they're not breathing, they're blue. Yep. Yeah. So I'm kind of freaking out on the 911. I'm like, he's not breathing. And the lady's like, just stick your fingers in his mouth. Yeah. So I did, and then he started crying, and he turned pink, like immediately turned pink after that, and so that's awesome. it. That's the moment.
Yeah, man, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's a great story, Tim.
Yeah, it's nuts.
Tim, we always make sure to give a chance at the end of the episode to like self-promotion. Do you want to promote like your Instagram if people want to like follow you or get to know you better? Any of that type of stuff.
No.
You can also say, nah, I'm good.
No, I'm good. You guys want to hear the 911 call? You want to go to hear the 911 call?
Yeah, man, Tim, that's all we got.
Awesome.
Thanks for your time, man. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks for having me, guys.
Thanks, man. Appreciate you.
Thanks,
all right.
Appreciate
all
it.
Right.
Thanks so much for listening. Please make sure to follow us on Instagram and Facebook at the Nashville Dads. And make sure to follow us on anywhere you find your podcast. And please give us a 5-star rating. And thank you to Matt Oakes for providing the music for the episode. Catch you next time.